Hey guys, welcome back to the Prosta English podcast. My name is Nika and I'm the host of this project. I hope you've already listened to the previous episode, which is called Vision Board That Works. And I also hope that you've either already created your vision board or at least written down the list of goals that you want to achieve this year. And if you haven't listened to episode 41 yet, be sure to go back to it later. I'm certain that it will be highly inspiring and motivational for you. But in today's episode, I want to discuss some habits that will help you achieve your goals this year. I've called them the habits of successful people. But first of all, let's define who successful people are. So, who do you think of when you imagine successful people? Let me guess. You might picture great businessmen like Elon Musk or Bill Gates. Maybe you imagine world famous singers like Beyonce or Taylor Swift. Or perhaps you think of world class actors like Leonardo DiCaprio or Will Smith. Yeah, that's true. They are successful in their careers. But for me personally, success isn't just about wealth or fame. For me, success is about achieving harmony in life and finding balance. Balance in career, personal life, and self care. And I believe that deep down, we all want to be those successful people that I am talking about. We all want to have jobs we love that also bring us good money. We all want to have great relationships with people we care about, our parents, our partners, and our kids. And we all want to follow our passions, have time for our hobbies, and focus on self improvement. So, today, let's talk about the habits that will bring us closer to this well balanced life, the habits that will help us define ourselves as happy and satisfied people. The first habit that I find crucial is time management. We are given only 24 hours, and it's obvious that we will never have enough time for everything. So, what we need to do first is to set our goals and priorities. And by doing this, you will understand the key areas of your life that you want to focus on. And after identifying your goals, you need to start planning. Ask yourself, when exactly can I work on what I want to achieve? Do I have 1 hour every day, or do I have just 1 hour a week? And once you've answered these questions, add these activities to your schedule. If something isn't in your schedule, it's not in your life. I will repeat it one more time. If something isn't in your schedule, it's not in your life. Because just by seeing it in your schedule, you stay focused on it, you remember it, and it helps you stay consistent. And consistency is the key to success. I always tell my students that it's better to study English, for example, for 10 or even 20 minutes every day than to study once a week for 3 hours. Because when you take long breaks, your brain simply forgets what you've learned and you waste time recalling what you studied before. At the same time, it's much more exhausting to study for a couple of hours in a row than just for 10 or 20 minutes. But when you are consistent and you take smaller steps every day, or at least every other day, you stay on track and your progress comes faster. However, as I mentioned before, we do not have time to do everything. I've noticed that successful people usually delegate tasks that others can do for them. Yeah, you spend money, but in the end, you earn much more because you have more energy. And sometimes others can do the task even better and faster. And at the same time, you can focus on what you enjoy or what's more important to you. So let's review one more time. The first habit that we've discussed today is time management. Define your goals and find time for them. Use different planners, to do lists, and calendars to help you keep track of your activities. At the same time, delegate tasks which you are able to delegate and enjoy your free time. Now, let's move on to the habit number two, which is a healthy lifestyle. When I read books about successful people, I've noticed that all of them find time for themselves. They exercise regularly and they make sport a priority. And to be honest, I love this point. I've noticed that no matter what sport I do, after physical activity, I always feel more energized. It's a kind of paradox because it seems like you are using your energy while doing sports, but in reality, it works the opposite way. Sometimes I have days when there are so many tasks on my plate, but I have no idea why. I just do everything super slowly. And it feels like I cannot come up with any good ideas. And usually at such moments, I choose to do some exercise. For example, I can go for a brisk walk or do yoga. And just 20 minutes later, my mood improves. My blood starts circulating and I feel energized. And as a result, I come up with lots of fresh ideas. A few weeks ago, we went to a ski resort here in Poland just for one day. We skied for 8 hours, and of course, at the end of the day, we were like super exhausted and we could barely walk. But all of us at the same time were over the moon. We were so happy. And that trip even inspired me to work harder because now I want to earn enough money for a luxury vacation. One day I want to go to Italy or maybe to Austria or even Switzerland to a great ski resort for a week. Ski for a few days in a row and in the evening relax in saunas and pools. And yeah, we were just skiing, but accidentally I created a new dream which now inspires me a lot. But when we talk about healthy habits, I do not just mean sports. It can also include getting a good quality sleep, eating healthy, practicing meditations, and also maintaining a positive mindset. Let me stop at the last point, which is a positive mindset. A positive attitude toward life is another great habit that unites all successful people. It doesn't mean that they have no problems, that they have no obstacles or no setbacks in their lives. Of course, no, they do. But instead of complaining or focusing on the negative, they always find opportunities and ways to get things done no matter what. Let me give you an example. One of my close friends had a successful business and a wonderful family with 3 kids, and everything was going great. But one day, his wife decided to divorce him and take all his businesses. Yeah, in one day, he lost everything he had been building for years. And of course, he suffered a lot and he experienced a lot of pain. But he never lost hope and he never stopped believing in a bright future. And that's what inspires me. I believe that successful people aren't the ones who do not fail. No, they fail many times, but they find strength to stand up and keep going no matter what. The third habit I want to cover today is networking. Successful people put time and effort into building relationships and connecting with others. I'm sure you can all recall situations when you couldn't solve a problem or couldn't find the answer to your question. But then you randomly spoke with one of your acquaintances, friends, or colleagues, mentioned the issue, and a solution came almost instantly. They gave you, for example, an answer, or they connected you with someone who knew the answer. Yeah, it's magic. The magic of networking. In Russian, we actually have an idiom that goes like this: it's better to have 100 friends than 100 rubles. In English, this idiom is less common, but it can also be expressed as a friend in court is better than a penny in the purse. And both of these idioms suggest that having relationships and connections can be more valuable than having money. Oh, actually, I have a few great examples which prove that networking really matters. So, one of my friends was thinking about changing jobs, but at the same time, he didn't want to start the process because he was annoyed by all the steps that he needed to take, such as create a good CV, then search through job lists, then write cover letters, and also wait for weeks or even months to responses from companies. But once he went to a tech conference, and there he randomly met an HR manager from a big international company. And he briefly shared his experience with her. And you know what? The next week, she invited him for an interview with a team leader. And yeah, my friend ended up getting a job offer. And here is another example. An acquaintance of mine once went to a networking event. At the time, he had a full time job, but he was considering starting his own business. And he shared his idea with a random person he met at the event. And in the end, they successfully launched a company. Now it's a big company with many clients and over 20 employees. So you see, networking matters. Just build relationships with people, and you never know who might help you just at the right moment. Or maybe you can be the one to help someone else. The fourth habit on my list of habits of successful people is continuous learning. I've noticed that only narrow minded and, let's say, stupid people say that they know everything. Smart people and wise people, intelligent people, they understand that there is always something more to learn and to discover. I know some successful people who constantly read books of all kinds: fiction, business books, self help books, psychology, biographies, and so on. And they also regularly attend courses and different seminars. They say that continuous learning is important because it helps them stay adaptable in a constantly changing world. By learning, they stay up to date with different, for example, industry trends and remain competitive. And new information helps them be more creative and innovative, and new knowledge allows them to think outside the box. So always stay curious, guys. Keep learning and keep exploring the world around you. And also surround yourself with people who share the same mindset. Because as we already know, our network is the key. If we are surrounded by curious people, those who are always willing to develop, it can be an additional source of inspiration and motivation for us. But if we are surrounded by people who are lazy and unambitious, it's easy to fall into the same pattern and stop growing. So it's important to choose the right people to be around. They can inspire us, motivate us to keep moving forward. The fifth habit I want to talk about today is gratitude. I see so many people who do not appreciate what they have. They constantly complain about something, and no matter what happens, they are never truly happy. But I believe that if you want to have a happy life, the first thing that you need to do is to start appreciating what you already have. All the successful people I know constantly focus on what's good in their lives, like people, opportunities, victories, and so on. And with this positive attitude toward the little things, they attract even more positive things, and it works, like a snowball. On the other hand, I see that those people who constantly complain, they are always angry, sad, and irritated. And it's obvious that when you carry this kind of energy, no area of your life will be successful. Your family will not be happy. Your friends will not want to spend time with you. And you will not be able to generate new ideas or be productive at work. But if, on the contrary, you are grateful for where you are now, if you smile and have positive mood and energy, people will be glad to spend time with you and to be in your company, whether it's in your personal life or in your professional life. That's it for today, guys. In this episode, I focused on discussing the main habits of successful people, such as good time management, continuous learning, relationship building and networking, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and practicing gratitude. You can analyze your current situation in life and see how many of these habits you are already practicing. Maybe you are already practicing all of them, and that's amazing. Or perhaps some habits are missing, and in this case, you can adopt them this year and start implementing them into your life. I just hope that this year will be a successful one for you based on your personal definition of success. And if you want to be successful at speaking English, you know what to do. First of all, follow this podcast so you do not miss the next episodes. And second, follow me on Instagram and Telegram. There, I share more information about inspiring and effective English learning. See you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Have a lovely day.